So in addition to your teaching, you also do concerts. You perform here and there, and it's a family affair, right? Who all is involved in these concerts with you?
Well, right now, presently, I use my daughter, Gina, and her daughters, because her husband, well, sometimes he comes too. He's also an excellent singer, but he's got his church job.
So your daughter and your two granddaughters, there are four of you?
Three
granddaughters, so there are 5 of you in the concerts.
Right.
That's amazing. And you play as a family, and I'm sure 4 hands and organ and piano duets. Tell us about what the concerts are like.
Well, since they love to sing, the girls and their mother, and well, they didn't include me on one song, but they also sing, as well as my daughter and I play piano and piano organ duets. But I have been playing with my sister, Ruth Yurden, who lives in, she lives in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. And she taught at Warner Pacific, our church college there in Multnomah Bible College. She's taught there for I don't know how many years. But anyway, we have done concerts together since 1974.
That's a while now, isn't it?
And we've done tours around the United States.
What
and we've got
wonderful.
to Guadalajara, Mexico.
International touring artist, Jean Shackleton and family.
But before that, our family, my husband and our 3 children, we traveled all around the United States in a motorhome and at churches for 17 years until they started leaving home for college. Mm-hmm. Then they got married too. So.
And we're working on trying to get one of those concerts arranged here at First Christian, and we hope that works out. We're trying to put all the ducks in a row and get all the details worked out. So we hope that in just a few weeks or a month or so, we'll be able to host Jean and her family in one of her concerts, maybe a virtual one at this point, but that's how kind of things are going in these days of the COVID. Speaking of that, you had told me about some amazing things that have happened just in the last few months, God's provision really being given to you during this time of the virus when so many people are losing work, especially those of us that are artists. I know my wife and I have lost several performances, and that's income that we were expecting to have and now we don't have, and I know you've been the same. Many of our colleagues have been without their normal work, but God has really blessed and provided for you. Tell us some about that.
Well, my last Sunday that I subbed at Crossings, that was my last, I didn't know that was going to be my last time to play for a while, I thought, because all the school jobs closed. I teach it, I accompany choir at OCU, and so those classes were closed, and the classes at SNU, where I also work and accompany, was closed, and then I was accompanying the choir at Mid-America. And so all 3 had closed, and I thought, oh, this is really something. But the director at First Christian in Edmond,
my dear friend Diane Ball,
yes,
known Diane and Larry for years.
She had taught at Mid-America, and she had called me because their organist was going to go to another church after Easter. So she said, could you serve as interim at our church after Easter and until we find a full-time organist here? So I said, sure, Well, I thought, there would be people in the audience. And whenever the schools closed and everything shut down, churches too, she called me and said, would you be willing to do online services? And that means coming up here to record on Fridays, And so I said, sure, because that's a little bit of income.
Certainly.
So I realized, God had provided before that date got there.
And then you had another call from a church in California, if I remember correctly.
Yes, there was a pastor where I've done many concerts through the years, and I'm still recording for their online service. And so he had called and asked if I would record, and I said, so my daughter comes and records me, and then I just send it on my phone to them, to the sound man and to him, and it's only the ending song after his sermon.
And then after you finished your interim at First Christian Church in Edmond, and we here at First Christian in Midwest City know exactly who First Christian Church in Edmond hired. Our former organist, Gary Dowell, of course, went there. But then Jean was kind enough to come over here, and so Jean is serving as our interim here.
Yes.
As Gary has transitioned, and we're conducting a search for our new organist, accompanist. But we just praise God for the wealth of talent that's in Oklahoma City, and that we all have these opportunities to do these things. How would you like to sign off today? What would you like our audience at First Christian Church to know about you, about Jean Shackleton?
Well, I became a Christian when I was 9. Got baptized when I was 11, I believe. And my dad baptized me in church where he was pastoring. But music has been so much a part of my whole life, and I wouldn't want to change it to any other, career. I enjoyed doing other things, and I've got a new hobby now. Through this time, I'm enjoying flowers, and I have a student that I used to have, and I'm trading her piano lessons for her to help me with my gardening.
Wonderful.
So a new hobby.
New hobby, that's terrific. Well, Jean, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about your life and your career and the many elements involved in that.